Good Friday to all of you. I'm happy to be coming to this weekend. I'm excited about worship this Sunday, and I'm excited to go over the common thread for this week's devotional. These passages, to me, seem to have a pretty clear common thread, and they talk about the love of God for us. So this is most evident in the 1 John passage, in which that is just plainly stated. This is how much the Father loves us. But also these passages that talk about the idea of the shepherd, I think, touch on this idea, but they use this shepherd as an analogy. And so you see, for example, in the psalm, the psalmist reflecting on the love and the care that he receives from God. And this care to him makes sense to be likened to the care that a shepherd gives to their sheep, which we talked about yesterday, how important the sheep were to their shepherd. And Jesus says the same thing in John. He says, I am the good shepherd, and I care for my sheep, and that's why I lay my life down for them. No one forces me to do it, but I do it of my own accord. And the sort of, even though he doesn't explicitly state, I do it because I love them so much, that is understood that he's willingly choosing this. He cares deeply about his sheep. The word we use for this kind of care is love. Similarly, the apostles preaching in the book of Acts, they are on trial because they have done something good. They've healed someone, but after the healing, then people are asking questions, and they start answering, and they start preaching, and they're telling everyone about what Christ has done and about why they healed this person because of the name of Jesus that saves. And so then they're brought before these religious leaders who don't really like all the trouble that they're stirring up. And they say the same thing to them. They say, if we're on trial because we did something good, well, we'll answer your question, I guess, if that's what's going on here. And then they answer it, and they lay out the deep compassion that Christ has, that he has died so that others can be saved. And again, the core point here, the point which First John, John the elder who wrote First John, makes so clearly, is that Christ's sacrifice is motivated entirely by love. That is what drove him to do what he did. That is what drove him to have such concern and care about how people were being treated, that he would fight so hard against the religious leaders. That's what drove him to say that he wished he could gather the people of Israel to him like a hen gathers her chicks. And it's what drove him, even though he was in the garden saying, I don't want to do this. This isn't something I look forward to. I wish there was another way, but we'll do this the way that we planned, Father. All of that is evidence of how deep his love is. And that is what this common thread is this week. That God's love for us is so deep and so vast that he is willing to do the unthinkable, to make immense sacrifices. And this love is what motivates us. Paul in another place says, I am compelled because I believe that Christ died for all. And therefore I'm compelled. And that is how we should respond. That the love of Christ should compel us to live differently, to think differently, to be motivated by different things, to prioritize different things. The love of Christ should compel us. And so, my friends, I hope that this week you can reflect on the love of Christ, that you can be renewed in your spirit by the wonder of that love, but that you can also be renewed in your passion, that the love of Christ can compel you as well. I hope you have a blessed day.